Kenny finally decided, I don't want to become average. This school year, I will be top student. But he don't know where to start. Luckily, he saw Georgian. Georgian is the ultimate top student. He's respected and idolized by his peers. But Georgian knows that he also started just like Kenny. Back then, Georgian is full of drive and ambition to become top student, but he don't know where to start. Because there is no one to guide Georgian, he experienced countless trials and tribulations. Seeing younger Kenny, Georgian smiles as he remembers his younger self. Back in elementary, I frequently have this thought of, ano kayang feeling na palaging nasa top 5 or ano kayang feeling na laging nasa top 1? And sometimes I even have a thought like, sana kung matalino lang ako. In our class kasi, there's around 46 students and every quarter, our teacher posts a ranking. And I frequently observe that my ranking is somewhere around 23 to 25. I frequently have this belief that never ako magiging top student because I am not good at studying, at memorizing, and even understanding. But looking back, I can say that I am wrong. And I am the proof that even average student can excel in school. By the way, my name is Kennethbsarmiento and I help the younger generation go through from Kenny to Georgian transformation through self-improvement. Without further ado, let's get started. I want you to become aware that school is not just about studying, like reading, comprehending, and memorizing. If you were to look at school curriculum, you can notice that examination is just a small part because there is written works and performance tasks that affect majority of your grade. Studying is just a small part. What you need is to become a well-rounded person that is not just good at memorizing, but has the skills in creating output, like essay, drawing, poster, and applying what you learned in real world, like presenting, dancing, leading, etc. Meaning you still have other skills to develop aside from studying alone. Another thing that I want to emphasize if you want to become top student this upcoming school year is the people who you surround yourself with. Chances are, your grades and the grades of your circle of friends is almost similar. Why? Because we have this tendency to imitate what is happening in our environment. Think about this. What do you think will happen if you are put in a place where the people there is religious? Chances are, you will also imitate their behavior and start to do more religious activity, right? On the other hand, what do you think will happen if you are placed in the environment where the students have hostile, negative attitude? Chances are, you will also be influenced to become like them. But I can control myself to not be influenced by them. Maybe for a few weeks or months, but how about 1 year, 2 years, and even 5 years from now? There is the saying that you become the average of 5 people who you spend most of your time with. The fastest way to become top student is to be in the circle of friends of top student. This alone is the most important advice that I can give to you. Okay, moving to the practicality part, I compiled every idea that I can think which can help you perform well in the next school year. Starting from the examination, I can say that the best day to prepare for the examination is the first day of classes in every quarter. I would recommend to ask the past exam paper from that student last year and study the lesson shown there. Second, whenever there is a quiz, I want you to compile every question that you got wrong. Thirdly, after school, grab your notes and create a flashcard. For me, I use the application called Anki. Using flashcard, review it until you are confident that you can say the answer without looking at your notes. Lastly, and the most important part, repeat that same lesson at spaced interval like 1 day, 3 day, 6 day, 15 day, and 30 day. This is important to tell our brain, hey, this stuff is important so do not forget it. I remember before that super tamad ko mag-aral, like babasahin ko lang yung notes isang beses tapos na. However, I learned that the best way to study is not the easy way, but the uncomfortable way. Meaning, do not just read the notes, but you need to train your brain to recall it without looking at your notes. Yes, uncomfortable sa feeling, but in this way, mas nag-i-stick yung information sa brain. Do not also be influenced by joining the hype of studying 12 hours a day. I know your capabilities because I started just like you. You know, it is much more realistic to study just 5 minutes every single day You may be wondering like, wala naman ako matututunan masyado sa 5 minutes. Yes, logically speaking, wala ka masyadong ma-learn in 5 minutes. But the point here is to develop the habit of consistently studying every single day, whether you feel like doing it or not. Let's be real, after you go home, ano ang masuunahin mong gawin? Mag-review or mag-cellphone? Chances are, masuunahin mo yung mag-cellphone, right? So just doing 5 minutes of productive work is already a huge win compared sa past self mo. Just start very small, and later down the line, once you already establish the habit, you can slowly increase the time you spent on studying. Additional reminder, do not just spend most of your time studying lang you still have lot of things to develop in order to become a top student. Moving to the written works, we will start with quiz. I want you to adopt this mindset that whenever there is a quiz, always keep in mind that your goal is to just have 1 to 2 mistakes. Anything near that is also fine, but as much as possible, just 1 to 2 mistakes. In terms of preparation, I consistently review the lesson as soon as I went back home and create flashcards through the application called Anki. Then I will answer my fill-in-the-blank question until I am confident that I can recall it. Then I will allow the app to space that card in 1, 3, 6, 15, or 30 days interval depending on my answer. Second, essay. To create good essay, you need to become aware of a good structure of an essay depending on types. And you also need to have a good vocabulary. My advice is to research a lot of YouTube videos on the types of essay and jot down the structure for your reference later. My second advice in terms of vocabulary is to read a lot of English story. Like for example in Wattpad, fiction novel or non-fiction novel. Over time, you will gradually expand your own vocabulary. Also, do not rely too much on AI. The purpose of the essay is defeated if you cannot express yourself because all the thought and work is now being relied on AI. Thirdly, art, or even the electronic art. I have to admit, this is my weakness. Kaya I had to spend a lot of time brainstorming and preparing my output just to ensure na presentable ang isasubmit ko. The good thing here is, the more presentable ang sinubmit mo, the higher the chance na higher din ang grade na marireceive mo. Kaya my advice is to research a lot of aesthetic design online and gayahin mo lang. Soon you will have the experience and little confidence na mapaganda mo yung output mo. Fourth, assignment. Whenever the teacher give you an assignment, I want you to keep in mind to always go the extra mile. Meaning, kung may pinapa-research man, show more related information. Kung may pinapa-solve man, write the solution and the explanation. The more effort that you put in your assignment, the more the teacher will associate you as a student who put more quality in his output. Meaning, in subjective experience, parang mas magiging prone ka sa higher grades. Kasi you always put a lot of effort sa mga schoolworks. Fifth, problem test, lalo na yung sa mathematics. Ito talaga yung weakness ng most of the student. Math. Alam mo yung feeling na nagli-lesson si teacher, pero yung utak mo di makasunod sa sinasabi niya. Like, super bilis ng mga pangyayari. I know this by myself because I am not gifted na maging math genius. But despite all of this, I managed to get super high grades in this subject. So, this is what I did. During vacation, I watched a lot of math lessons, like starting from quarter 1 to quarter 4. Easier said than done. Dito ko ma-experience yung medyo sumasakit ang ulo ko kahit sa YouTube video. But no choice ako Hindi naman ako matalino to the point na madali kong maintindihan yung lesson ng teacher. This is why I have to study in advance para makafollow ako sa sinasabi ng teacher. Naalala ko yung moment one time na tinanong ako ng classmate ko. Like, paano mo kaagad na-solve yung equation? Kasi super nahihirapan yung mga kaklase ko. Tapos yung sagot ko, secret. Pero deep inside, napag-isip-isipan ko, I think madali kong na-solve yung equation kasi nag-advanced study na ako nung bakasyon. Kumbaga, dahil doon, mas madali ako nakakasunod sa lesson. So yeah, para hindi mahirapan sa math, mag-advanced study. Lastly, performance task. Recitation. Most sa atin is nakakalimutan ito, but recitation is part of performance task. Ang advice ko lang is to always have a goal that every single day, your goal is to have a recitation twice a day. That's it. It doesn't matter kung tama ka or mali. Ang goal mo lang is tumayo ka and say a few words 2 times every single day. At first, nakakatakot. But as time passes by, you will overcome the fear. Plus, your teacher and classmate will start to recognize you and even start to have a positive impression sa iyo. Next, project. Do not settle for less. Even if hindi ka artistic, you have the capability to create aesthetic design. You just need the right tools and mindset. So my advice is to research a lot of creative aesthetic design sa cover page man yan or even sa output itself. Next, reporting. I highly recommend when reporting in front of class to really prepare it by giving examples and simple analogies. Try to speak without looking at your notes. Instead, speak with good body language and eye contact to your classmate. Lastly, group performance. I highly recommend to take the role of becoming leader in every group activity. Why? Because it will develop you as a whole. Also, when doing something, always research well and plan well. Do not settle for less by always thinking on making your presentation more aesthetic than before. So, as you can see, you need to be not just good at studying, but you also need to be good at written works and performance tasks. Meaning, to become top student, you need to develop these three aspects. Lastly, the most important advice that I can give to you is to properly manage your time and attention. And most importantly, surround yourself with top performing students in your classroom man yan or even sa school. This is my advice. Good luck. If you find this video beneficial, you may consider following my Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube channel. Always do your best for your future self. Mwah.